Hello and welcome to this information session about the Wise My Size Children's Coaching Certification. We are your hosts. My name's Jack and this is my sister Lorna. We met
Hi.
at birth and we've been together ever since. We are the creators of the Wise My Size Children's Life Coaching Programme. So what if we could convince you that you can transform children's mindset without preaching, nagging, or begging? Would you even believe us? What if we told you you could still work and support children that you love doing, but without all the paperwork and getting burnt out? A myth? This generation of children are our future. They're our future leaders, our future inventors, our future problem solvers, our creatives, our legacy. What if we told you that you could equip them with soft skills like empathy, compassion, confidence, and self-worth through stories, games, and play? Is that even possible? Let's find out. So this is our story. Once upon a time, there were twin sisters who had vivid imaginations, they spoke their own made-up language, preferred to be in their own imaginative world because they were incredibly, incredibly shy. They loved nothing better than a good book and would spend hours hiding in a den, listening to stories and making up their own stories for themselves. Despite being labelled daydreamers, poor spellers, and too shy, they both knew they wanted to grow up and make a difference in the world. Of course, everyone told them you couldn't do that by writing books. So the twins believed this and began to look elsewhere to make their mark. But as it turns out, they could overcome their shyness if it meant helping others. So Jack pursued a career in teaching, and Lorna pursued a career in children's occupational therapy. The sisters embraced their roles with passion, commitment, and enthusiasm, and worked hard over many years to be the best that they could be. Every day they turned up, wanting to help, wanting to do more, and to make a difference. But one day, the tools they both had were just not making as big of an impact. Many children were in pain, not believing in themselves, lacking confidence, and worrying. The skills that had once worked simply needed to be more. The sisters dug deeper, compared notes, and asked, what are we missing? What can we do? The sisters knew there had to be a way to help children discover their incredible uniqueness, believe in themselves, and be confident. Then they remembered their love of stories. How stories, imagination, fun, and play were the only way children learn. They decided to create a new way to coach children to be happy, confident, and kind, as this felt more important than anything else. The sisters got out their notepads and began writing a library of stories to help children become wise for their size.
Thanks, Jack. That was lovely. So why now? Why would we be launching our certification course now? Well, I don't know about where you work, but certainly even before the global pandemic, Jack and I were noticing something really needed to change. And we kind of talked about it as like kind of the threshold of response, that within the work systems that we were in, we were just kind of waiting and waiting for something to get bad enough, if you like, to tip the balance into getting children help. And so you might have been noticing that too. And what we were kind of comparing was it was quite different. Mental health seems still to be very differently perceived than physical health, because actually there's lots of messages out there about prevention around physical health, about kind of taking some ownership around your physical health, you know, and children are given clear messages like drink more water, 5 fruit and veg a day, they're encouraged at school to do the daily mile. But when it comes to mental health, it seems to be something that you kind of, you certainly aren't trying to prevent poor mental health, but nor are you trying to encourage great mental health. And you're just waiting and waiting and waiting till the threshold it gets bad enough till someone makes a response. Of course, when it is bad enough to get a response, you're then hoping beyond hope that the services that are around are responsive enough. And sadly, what we were finding that they weren't. And as we were talking, we kind of came up with this kind of analogy that was causing us all to go into this kind of surveillance mode, where you were constantly having to look and check, are children too close to the cliff edge? Have children fallen in the water? Can we get them out safely? And it just kind of builds that kind of that sort of threshold of response, and you're waiting for kind of almost disaster to strike before we would act. And we were kind of thinking that just doesn't seem quite right. So that in our story, Jackie was kind of referring to the fact that we were kind of like thinking, can we reimagine this in some way? And we were kind of thinking, what if we actually coach children that worry was just a natural response to anything they'd never done before, or something that was different? What if we coach children to understand that emotions are just signals to guide rather than being good or bad? What if we coach children that the only thing that they ever have complete control over is their own feelings, responses, actions, and reactions? And what if we coach children that they had subconscious beliefs about their own abilities, but these beliefs are not the truth, that they could be changed and they could be rewritten? So that we have children who expect to feel nervous when something new is coming their way, and view it as being out of their comfort zone, something they haven't done before, rather than avoiding it. So that children understand their feelings and emotions, and they can have healthy boundaries and know when someone has overstepped and to what feels okay for them. So that we could have children who don't waste any time or energy worrying about something that they could never control, like ill health with the global pandemic, spoiled plans, other people's unkindness, so that we could give children the gift of living a life without limits. And this is when we took our life house analogy, we then came up with our raft. So if we support children before they're anywhere near the water to build their own raft of soft skills, emotional intelligence, confidence, and resilience, while they're on dry land, then they're prepared for any stormy sea that comes their way. Because as adults, we know a storm is coming, it's inevitable, okay? But if we built that raft of resilience, what difference would that make? Then the child is not waiting for someone to rescue them, but perhaps even a stormy sea actually looks like a great opportunity and a challenge rather than a disaster. So we all have mental health. It's just the way in society is constructed it as kind of good or bad. So we want to flip the script, if you like, and we want to talk about mental strength. So it's endless, isn't it? Just in the same way you wouldn't say to a marathon runner, oh, I think you're a bit too fit now. I think, you can stop. If we were looking for physical health to be something that you could just keep, physical health and physical strength could just be ongoing. What about mental strength? You could become more resilient. You could develop more soft skills. You could become more empathetic, more self-compassionate about yourself. There is just no limit. And so that is what we wish to do. And we want all children to have that raft and to be wise for their size. So when we were imagining our program and what it would look like, we made a conscious decision that we want to teach children how their amazing brains work and how they think, as opposed to what to think. And we know then a powerful transformation is inevitable. So you might be sitting there thinking, well, what is children's life coaching? How would you describe that? So we're kind of thinking children's life coaching is the raft, if you like. So the aim of children's life coaching is to empower young people to take charge of their lives and develop a positive mindset. During the coaching process, the coach will use techniques such as active listening, questioning, goal setting, visualization, role play, and many other strategies to help the child to understand their strengths, areas of development, set achievable goals, and develop the confidence and skills they need to succeed. So the Wise for My Size coaching program, it all starts with a story. So we really knew that if we were going to create a new way, a new program, it had to have some certain elements. Okay, so we knew it had to be child-friendly, fun, and engaging. It also had to be non-threatening and non-stigmatizing, as we knew mental health can be. And there is a sort of reluctance for parents to reach out for help in a preventative way. So we thought stories were just a great option for us as the first step, because they're well known of the benefits of reading children's stories. It's something very familiar and something that would be definitely seen within family life. And so with our love of stories, we thought it was a perfect place to start. But also, when we looked into it more, there's real science and neuroscience behind why stories are so powerful for us. And we are actually hardwired for stories. So they just made the whole thing perfect. A story can change perceptions and plant ideas. So that's the without nagging, preaching, begging. So we're giving situations, we're helping the child visualize maybe a different scenario or outcome to something they're facing. And very easily we can start changing their perception of a situation that feels like they've got the ownership of it. When we hear a story, multiple parts of our brain light up compared to, for instance, listening to an instruction. You've got the motor part, the language part, and the frontal lobe starts activating for problem solving. And we go into this a lot deeper in our certification, looking at the power and the neuroscience of stories, because it is really, really fascinating. It changes our brain chemistry, and we get a lovely dopamine hit when we listen to a story. The stories demand our attention, and we can remember a story for a lot longer than a fact. So think of those kind of cautionary tales, or even stories from your childhood. You could probably bring them back to from your memory banks very, very quickly and remember them in actually quite great detail. So stories are very, very powerful. And when the listener emotionally connects with the characters, a change can actually happen from within them without us, as we say, nagging or begging. So just the power of the story is really significant. So one of the questions we're asked all the time, I mean, how would you coach children? You know, maybe people are a bit kind of confused about how you could actually do that. Is that possible? Well, yes, it absolutely is. So some of you might be a bit familiar with coaching, and for some this might be a completely new idea. So that's absolutely fine either way. Let's just take a few definitions and distinctions and the way we work with children. So pure coaching would be from the assumption that the coachee has all the resources they need inside them to find a solution or the answer they seek. And it's the job of the coach to use coaching techniques such as active listening and questioning to just unlock that internal wisdom for that person, and then they can access it and make decisions from there. But as we're coaching children, our approach has to include an element of teaching to introduce new concepts, skills, and some techniques. And then this creates a very safe space to practice these new skills before your child uses them in real life situations. And the way we do this is through stories, activities, and the power of the imagination. So we're always coaching the child in front of us, and we're always waiting for them to have their own eureka moment or the aha moment, okay, however long that takes, okay? So we're not forcing them along a path or wanting them to get something just because we've decided to coach them around it. We're allowing them to have their own eureka moment, because that's when you get the powerful transformation. But I just wanted to take a moment, if that's okay, just to compare maybe a teaching approach with a coaching approach in an activity that hopefully you are familiar with. If you've ever had children and they want to have lace-up shoes, you inevitably get into that place where you're teaching them how to tie their shoelaces. And as an occupational therapist for children, this is an activity I've done many, many times. So if we take the teaching approach, which is probably the most typical approach people would use, we say this is how you tie your shoelaces, and you watch and copy me. So we're showing them, and we're showing them exactly what to do, and we're asking them to model us. We're giving instructions, and we're correcting mistakes. Okay, but sometimes that just leaves us, the child doesn't manage it, and sometimes they do. But with a coaching approach, let's look at how that would be slightly different. So the first thing I would do is say, well, what do you know about tying laces? You know, maybe have a shoe with me and say, show me. So I'm actually unlocking their internal wisdom. They're getting to show me what they already know. What help do you need? So they are then able to pinpoint what is the bit about this tying the shoelaces that I'm getting stuck with, because it's rarely making the bunny ears. It's always the kind of pushing through usually. And we're asking them to kind of a strengths-based approach. You know, what went well? You know, what bit are you really good at? And what bit do you need to practice? Well, usually it's I can't get it tight enough, or it's just not, I'm not getting it through the little hole, or I'm not quite sure where to push. But in using the coaching approach, the child has real ownership of tying their laces. We're only intervening in the little bit that they're stuck with, and the child feels much more accomplished and able with this approach. So it's very, very powerful, and we get great results. So I'm just going to hand over to Jack, who's going to take you through the methodology.
Thank you, Lorna. So again, as Lorna was saying, when we were imagining what this new way of coaching children could look like, we came up with our 6 steps for becoming wise for my size. So I'll just share them with you now. So step 1 is we share, and from that it's we're sharing the story. We share the storybook together. One, for all the reasons Lorna just mentioned about the neuroscience of stories, but also it's creating that lovely relationship, that strong bond between the listener and the storyteller. And you've now got this shared experience of what the character has been through, a shared language and understanding. It also takes the onus of what's happening off the child and onto the character. So you're exploring what's happening to them in that story. Step 2 is when we reflect on how that story has maybe made us feel, think, remember, and we can change our understanding of a situation by reflecting on it. You know, what has this story taught you? How could this help you in the future? In step 3, this is the main part where we would be doing any teaching. For example, you might have to teach what a comfort zone is before you actually start experimenting with it, or what shade talk is before you start kind of listening to it and changing your mind about it. So in this step 3, we explore. We are still focusing on the characters of our story, but we're exploring what some of these things are. So, for example, we wouldn't just tell children, oh, by the way, you have a comfort zone. It's just this imaginary place that you made up in your own brain. We would explore it by playing the comfort zone game. So by doing that, they're taking part in a game, but they're understanding what feels comfortable and uncomfortable for them by playing a game. We then move on to step 4, which is lots of fun, which is we experiment. So this is when we take all this new learning and now we start thinking, how would this affect them personally? So we are moving away from the story and onto them. So we're literally just trying on for size different ideas, different strategies, different tools. It's not expected that every child will benefit from every single one, but it's just that they know that this is a possibility now. They now know that they could calm their body with breath in 3 or 4 different ways. One might be more appropriate when they're in the classroom. One might be more appropriate when they're going to bed at night and they're just having a little worry. So they just try these things on, and it means that they know that they have this little tool belt of strategies that they can bring out whenever they need to in their life. Step 5 is we prepare. So this is when we are thinking, when could a time come up in the future where I might be worried? I might feel that I'm doing something new. I might make a mistake. I'm not looking after myself as well as I could have. So they make a little plan of what this would look like if this happened, without the pressure of it actually happening to them. And that way they are prepared for the next time a situation crops up because they've already worked through it. And then step 6 is we practice. And our favourite saying is practice makes progress, because we are not looking for perfection. What we're looking for is that a little slightly better version of yourself than you were before. So any learning that you've gained will just prepare you for the next time something like that comes up. And then you can just start being wise for your size in lots of different situations. So now what I would love to do is to share with you our Wise for My Size library, just to give you a little flavour of the kind of topics that we would cover. So Iron and the Camel is a metaphorical book. So most of our books are based on kind of real relatable life situations that children face. But Iron and the Camel is a metaphorical one because it's actually teaching about the subconscious and conscious brain. So Ian represents our rider. He represents the conscious brain. He's making the decisions, he's making the plans, they're off to market. And the camel is a subconscious brain. It's holding the beliefs and holding back beliefs, in fact, that just think this plan is really for us. So in this story, you learn what beliefs are, that some can push you forward, some can hold you back, and how to rewrite the ones that are not serving you anymore. The Tombi's Path is our second metaphorical book, and this is all about a girl called the Tombi. She lives in her village. She goes to market every day on the well-worn path, but she's bored. It's getting a bit dull, and she hears about the wild, wild sea and decides to make her own path to find it. So this book is all about your comfort zone and creating neural pathways. And that when you haven't done something before, it feels a little bit strange and not very comfortable. That's just because you're not practiced at it. And practice makes progress. Then we're still on the topic of our amazing brain. We've now got Captain Raz in Be Careful What You Wish For. So Captain Raz is teaching children all about the reticular activating systems in their brain and how to focus on negative stuff. You're just going to get more negative stuff. So this really teaches them and coaches them how to be careful what they're setting their attention and focus on, because that's what they're going to get. But then we have Captain Raz to the rescue, where we actually learn in this book how children can focus their attention to achieve big goals that they want. We definitely be sitting outside of their comfort zone, but by putting their focus on it, they will be able to achieve them. This book, The Worry, is all about Alfie, who has a worry and Gran has noticed. So this book is all about how Alfie invites his worry to tea. He interviews it, he finds out why it's really turned up, and it was actually just to help him all along. Cass and the Little Flower was written for all our orchid children living in a dandelion world. So this book is teaching about empathy, compassion for others, and helping children to know that we all have sensory preferences and that we can ask for something different to help us feel just right for us if something's feeling too much or not enough. Mailing's Lemon Tea coaches children about self-care. Poor Mei-ling, she makes her delicious lemon tea, she rests in the afternoon, she has a blissful life until the traveller comes knocking and shares her lemon tea and starts boasting about it. And soon Mei-ling is spending every afternoon making tea for other people and running around until she just can't do it anymore. Michael's Many Mistakes coaches children around making a lost your way mistake. So this is when we focus on values. But this happens a lot for children. They're honouring their value of fun and games, maybe by playing a prank on someone, or there's a little bit of rough play going on and something gets broken or people's feelings get hurt. And they don't know how to come back from it because they would never have intentionally gone against their value of kindness or friendship, but it's just happened. So in Michael's Many Mistakes, we learn how to come back from a mistake stronger and learn from it. And then we've got I Can't Harry, and this is all about how we speak to ourselves. So we define that in our language as our shade and shine talk. And in this, we learn how I Can't Harry, he really believes he can't do anything. He's very down on himself. But something happens one day and he starts to believe something a little bit different. So each of our books come with their own workbook and grown-ups guide to help you coach. So I'll just show you the workbook briefly. So as you can see, it's got the 6-step methodology. lovely visuals. Our graphic designer, Mark, is very good at making everything look very beautiful. And this is activities that you could do. So here we have here the can Shade Talk come in different clouds? It absolutely can, but you've also got the Shine Talk solutions as well. Playing a little game here about can you hear the difference between the two? Meeting your Shade and Shine Talk personas by making your puppets, inviting them along. What can make Shade Talk and pop up? Using Shine Talk to reprogram your brain, speaking to yourself like a good friend, and the infamous self-talk board game that I love, where you practice your Shade and your Shine Talk. And then we have here in our practice, what do you need to start and stop doing? What are those habits you're going to have to change if you're going to want to speak to yourself like a good friend all the time? And then we have the grown-ups guide. So the features of the grown-ups guide will obviously be particular to each book, but they always have the what might a child be doing or saying if they have Shade Talk. We have created a wisery. So this is what we would like to term as our wise words, and it just allows us to have this shared language. So for example, we all now know a definition of what self-talk is, Shine Talk and Shade Talk, and then the different clouds and their Shine solutions. So that coach, child and parent are all talking the same language. And it means parents can reinforce this in the home, or if you're working in a school, the teachers can. Then we've got some ideas for explore and experiment, the rules of the board game, and then we always finish with a prepare and practice with a nice quote that gets us thinking, and then also how to use these skills and techniques in real life situations. So just to give you another little idea, these are like from the workbook on the worry and the different types of worry you can have. So we like to define that as 4 different types of worry. So this handy flow chart in one of the workbooks would help you work out what kind of worry you have. So it could be an other's opinion of me matters worry. It could be an out of my control worry. I never done this before worry, or I don't believe in my own abilities worry. Whatever it is, there's a solution to move past it and learn and grow.
All right, I'm just going to share the slide again.
Thank you, Lorna. There's the books there. Fabulous. And I just wanted to explain a little bit about how these books sort of come about. So Laura and I are the authors of all of the books, all of the materials. We research everything, and we want the contents of the books to be very relatable to children and things that they kind of crop up in their life, like not being able to tidy your bedroom, worrying about something you haven't done before, not being sure about having a sleepover, things like that. Playing a prank and not telling the truth afterwards. We love everything to be tried and tested. That's one of our values, and we thrive on feedback. So the coaching tools and stories have been piloted in England and Scotland in different schools. They've been used with small groups, one-to-one, in classrooms, community groups, charities, gymnastic and dance schools. We are a family-run business. Obviously, there's the 2 of us as sisters, but also our graphic designer who designs all the workbooks and grown-ups guide is Mark Davies, and he's actually Lorna's husband. And we only hire freelance illustrators because we really value supporting individual sole traders and business people. And our printers are a small business too, so we do print locally to keep it sustainable. We're always inspired by the children that we are working with, and the library continues to grow.
It sure does. We're not short of ideas, that's for sure. So I hope, and that was a great overview by Jack. I hope you can see what we mean by when children are taught how their amazing brains work, so that they have a comfort zone, they have beliefs, and how those play out in real life, as opposed to what to think. That's where the powerful transformation comes in. So all the concepts, as I say, are real evidence-based concepts. All we've done is present them in a way at that age and stage that's appropriate for children, and in a format that's understandable, and in a way that's fun and relevant to them. But I just want to have a little check-in with you, because obviously you've made the effort to, thanks, get in touch, and you've hopefully got a nice cup and have settled in to watch this information session. But let's just think for a minute, how did that actually happen? So, well, perhaps at some level you've said to yourself, maybe inside your head or out loud, I want something different, something needs to change, or what else can I do? I'm a bit bored, what I'm currently doing, or I want to make a greater impact. Or perhaps you're feeling the tools that you currently have in your work are just not hitting the mark and something needs to shift. So we might explain this to you, looking at Captain Raz to the rescue. So again, as Jackie said, your reticular activating system is that small part in your brain that filters in and out the information that you decide is important. And we've all had this situation, haven't we? Like, I'm planning a holiday. I kind of decided that I'd quite like to go to Tenerife again. Suddenly, everyone I speak to is either going to Tenerife or thinking about it. I see adverts for Tenerife. I see things in my Facebook scrolling for Tenerife. So suddenly it doesn't feel so special. Now, that's not the case. Tenerife information was always there. It was just because when I decided it was important and I put it on my Captain Raz filter, suddenly the information came through to me and I got to see it. So perhaps you put on your radar, I want something different. I want a change. I want to, gain a powerful part-time income. I want to start a coaching business. I want more tools. And I want to work with children, have a greater impact. And then suddenly you maybe saw our Facebook post, or you saw something that we shared, or someone tagged you and said, is this maybe the change that you're looking for? And here you are. So you got yourself here, thinking about it, and you've been watching it so far. But I just wanted to check in, how are you feeling? You might notice that at times we're talking and you're like, yay, this is brilliant, I can do this. And other times you're like, oh my goodness, I couldn't do that. And your response is simply linked to the size of your comfort zone and your past experience. Now, remember, your comfort zone is that place in your mind where you've made by yourself based on the beliefs of what you think you can and cannot do. So now I've mentioned beliefs, and we're thinking about I Am the Camel. In that storybook and workbook, we explore the two types of beliefs: the push me forward, the ones that push you towards your big goals and dreams, and the ones that hold you back, my hold me back beliefs. So we have access to both. However, we know that our brains are wired to look for danger and survival over joy and achieving your goals. So if you even dare to imagine a life where you're undertaking a children's life coaching course, or you're starting your own life coaching business, and you've never done anything like that before, you will find the hold me back beliefs bubbling up. What are you thinking? You can't do something like this. What if you did it and you failed? What would they say in the staff room if they found out I was doing this? So remember, those hold me back beliefs really push you back and hold you in your comfort zone because you're safe there. There's no risk of fear and judgment and failure, okay? You might even be noticing that you're having a fight, flight, freeze response, maybe a bit of a nervous tummy thinking about it, maybe sweaty palms, or maybe some very loud shade talks coming. So again, many of us view these uncomfortable sensations, thoughts and feelings as a definite sign, oh, this is not for me. I felt really nervous when I thought about it, so it can't be for me. But what if you'd been on the Wise for My Size journey with us? What if we'd covered Natombi's path and you knew that your comfort zone is simply a place that you created from your hold me back beliefs? And you'd also covered Ayan and the camel, and you knew that you had the power to take out those beliefs, examine them, shake up their power and diminish it, and write new push me forward beliefs instead. And then what if we'd covered the worry, and you knew that a fight, flight, freeze response was a normal, typical response that happens when you've never done something before. And all you need to do is plan how to gently stretch your comfort zone in small, doable steps, not in a massive, giant leap. And that if we covered I Can't Harry, and you're shown how to turn up your shine talk so that your shade talk would not hold you back. So my invitation to you as we go through the rest of the course is just get a bit of your a piece of paper in your notepad, or get a post-it note or something. And I hope you're giving this serious thought and consideration as if this could be the right course for you. But I want you to listen in to what you're saying to yourself, either out loud or in your own head, what you're believing about this. You'll be able to spot a belief. I am just a therapist. I couldn't do this, I can't, take on this journey, or I would like to be a life coach for children, but so these are kind of our little hints that we're starting to form beliefs, and that maybe they're kind of hold me back. And listen to that shade talk and just write it all down, because I hope you do take the opportunity to have a follow-up conversation with us. And it's brilliant if you can bring some of those beliefs and shade talk with you, so we can really help you and coach you around that. And even if this course isn't the right course for you right now, that's fine, because we can support you on that call. So grab a little bit of paper and write them down. Okay, but what I really wanted to do next was talk to you about the Wise for My Size programme in action. And I thought the best way to do that was to talk you through a case study of a little girl and a mum that I had coached. So obviously, for confidentiality reasons, we've changed the names so they can't be identified. But Alison, the mum, got in touch as she was worried about her little girl, Jane. She was showing physical signs of worry, so complaining of sore tummy, headaches, and she was getting upset at bedtime, and she was reluctant to leave mum for any length of time. Jane had also stopped some of her clubs, the brownies and swimming, which she used to really love, and she wouldn't try anything new. And recently, the tipping point, if you like, that got mum to get in touch was mum had to go and collect her from Gran's house. So she had a planned sleepover, but she got a bit scared of staying away from mum, and so she wanted to be collected. So what I wanted to do was work out the impact that this was having for Jane. And we have several ways to do that. But one of the things that we always do is we do an intake form with a child, and we do an intake form with a parent. And we use a really impactful life coaching tool of the life wheel. The children, they love colouring it in. So we asked them to sort of give us a pictorial representation on the life wheel of how things are feeling right now. And we've got a range of topics. And we asked some different questions as well. So from that exercise, I found out that Jane was concerned that she couldn't now stay at Gran's. She thought that was maybe something that was now not a possibility for her. She did have something that was going to make her kind of maybe work on this, because she wanted to stay over at a friend's party, but she didn't feel she could do it. So a friend's birthday party was coming up in the not so distant future, and she was now starting to believe she couldn't. She was just feeling stuck, and she didn't want to fail again. So she was scared to try another sleepover in case she couldn't manage to stay over. And she was actually feeling quite scared and worried about it. But her goal was, she was really active. She wanted to go to her friend's party, and she just wants to be happier again and not to worry. So I definitely felt it was something I could coach her around. So my formulation was Jane's current mindset blocks, that she's worried and she's not understanding why. She is imagining the worst case scenario. She believes she will fail, and Jane lacks the strategies to move forward. And what I knew I wanted to share with her was I wanted her to know about fight, flight, and freeze response. I wanted to know about I've never done it before worry. I wanted her to know about fear, false evidence appearing real. I wanted to know about the comfort zone, stretch zone, and I wanted to also develop her self-belief. So in the We Share, We Reflect steps, I really felt Jane could connect with the spirited character of Natombi, and she's very brave. She does doubt herself as well, but she learns to overcome it. So I thought that was a really good pathway for Jane. I also shared with her the worry. And so when Alfie meets his worry, he learns why it's really there. Okay, so I felt these were two very strong stories to share with her. In the We Explore, we did explore the fight, flight, freeze response, and I asked Jane to tell me how worry actually felt in her body. And this is one of the exercises we do where the child actually maps the fight, flight, freeze response for them within their body. And then they learn about fight, flight, freeze and realise it's just a normal response that's maybe being activated at a time that they're not in real danger. And we also explored her comfort zone by playing the comfort zone game. which she thoroughly enjoyed. So in the experiment phase, I taught her many things, but these were kind of key points. I taught her about this kind of cycle of the what if thoughts. So when the what if thoughts come up, it's what if I forget my lines, what if, so they're always worst case scenario, and your brain is imagining yourself in the future not doing so well. And these are triggered by emotions, and they actually usually stop you from doing the thing that you're thinking about. So we really looked at what was keeping her in her comfort zone. I also explained to her about the false evidence appearing real, which is fear. So danger is real, fear is a choice. And we balanced out her what if thoughts so they weren't always so negative. And she loved this visual. So again, this is what I was explaining earlier about the comfort zone. So in the comfort zone, you are comfortable, you're stable, you're secure, but you can also be very unchallenged, bored, and it feels easy. Okay. In the stretch zone, you're feeling daring, happy, challenged, enthusiastic, motivated. But then if you go too far and you're in the panic zone, you're feeling stressed, frustrated, fearful, anxious, exhausted. So we really got Jane to understand what the limits of her comfort zone were, and then work out what was the next doable small step that kept her certainly in her comfort zone, stretch zone, and certainly not in her panic. And then prepare and practice. So what we did was we knew where we were, we knew where her edges of her comfort zone was, we knew the goal was to stay over her friends, and what we did is we plotted small doable steps that built her confidence, built her trust in herself, and she was able to work towards her goal. We practice things like getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. So we do some habit releasers so that she gets a really strong neural pathway for doing things that don't feel absolutely as comfortable as she would like. And we practice stretching. So don't you just love a cliffhanger? We do. So if you hang around to the very end, I'll tell you how I got on with Jane and the outcome of the story. So I think maybe when people think about children's life coaching, certainly the one-to-one coaching approach, and if that's in the coaching, therapy, consulting space, is certainly something that you would connect with and probably think, oh yes, that's kind of what I thought you would be doing, and that's absolutely right. It is definitely one of the ways you can use our program. And that's exactly what Wendy thought. Wendy is one of our coaches, Wise for My Size coaches, and she's actually used the Wise for My Size program. Her goal was to start her own coaching business. So Wendy came to us. She's a former school teacher who's left the classroom, and she had a dream of using her teaching skills in a more impactful way. So she looked at several options, and when she came across our program, she didn't hesitate. Wendy has had no previous training in coaching, so it really was the start of her journey. But what I wanted to show you there was this was a lovely quote from one of her coaching clients, the parents, and it just shows you that the certification program is designed for starting you with no coaching experience to get you up to feeling really, really comfortable and confident in your coaching skills, but also making a massive impact. So this was lovely. So this was the parents' feedback. Chris is like a different child. He's more confident, can approach new things without being anxious or overthinking. He's now able to ask questions about things that he thinks about and work through the knowledge instead of it being a worry straight away, which then gets bigger and bigger. So that was just such a powerful experience for Wendy. But the other things, Wendy was absolutely clear she was going to do her one-to-one coaching and start her coaching business. But the other thing that happened was through our coaching certification process, which we'll explain a bit later, there's some practical elements of it that we ask you to complete. And we do ask you to coach a small group, so 3 to 4 children. As this feels really different, it's a really different approach to using our coaching tools. And by doing this, Wendy's discovered she loves doing the groups. So now her coaching business is really expanded, and she can see that it's going to be a real mix of one-to-one coaching clients, groups and workshops, because that's certainly the other option. The Wise My Size program fits really beautifully into a Wise My Size group or parent and child workshops. So again, if that is something that really appeals to you, that's actually how you could use it, and you don't need to even think about doing one-to-one coaching if that's not for you. Our training covers how you would bring the program into a group format, gives you loads of ideas and fun games, and how you would take the learning into that group format. And that's certainly something that appealed to Jo. So Jo is one of our coaches. Jo is a primary teacher who works part-time, and she was looking for something different. She wanted to make more impact, and she felt coaching would be a lovely fit for her. So Jo is going to actually use the coaching approach to sort of develop an extra income stream for her, if you like, while she still is as a teacher. So she's going to use the coaching skills as a teacher because it's now in her toolkit, so she can't help herself, okay? But she's also going to offer after school clubs and parent and child workshops, and as well as the one-to-one coaching. So Jo gave us a lovely bit of feedback. So I'm loving the challenge of working with new clients and making a difference in their lives. I find being a coach a highly stimulating and constantly evolving career, and finding the job of being a coach has a very positive impact on my own mental well-being and happiness, which is lovely, isn't it, that reciprocal approach. So Jo is super excited to get started and is looking, is really feeling called to support families facing separation, either through an illness like dementia, divorce, or deployment. So through their parents' job, one of them is away, and this really sits with Jo's passion and vision of how she wants to use the tool. So it's very versatile. So again, Wives My Size in the classroom, school, and homeschool community. So again, many of our coaches are perhaps sometimes still in the classroom, or thinking of leaving, but they want to have more impact while they're in the classroom. They might want a whole school approach, or they might be interested in supporting that sort of homeschool community. There's other ways to offer Wives My Size in schools, after schools clubs, delivering wellbeing sessions in schools, offering an in-school programme, PPE or CPD cover, or as a supply teacher, but you're actually going in to deliver their health and well-being. So you can say, I can be a supply teacher for you, but I'll be delivering the Wives My Size coaching programme to fit in with your health and well-being curriculum while I'm here, which is a great asset. And this is Fiona. Fiona is a secondary school teacher, an ESOL teacher, and now a Wives My Size coach. Fiona knew she wanted to bring coaching skills to her pupils, but she's also gained a real interest and is developing a niche with homeschool families. So it's a really exciting time for Fiona. You may also be looking for the Wives My Size tools as to enhance your current role. So kind of like a CPD opportunity, or for instance, Roberta, who's one of our wonderful coaches, she's a head teacher in a busy primary school, and she's also got that additional role of mental health first aider for her school. But she reached out when she was just feeling that she didn't have the tools to support the children the way she wanted to when they came to her. So Roberta, for instance, is using the Wives My Size tools to really enhance her current role. She's not intending to start a coaching business, but she's just wanting to use the tools in her practice. Again, you know, many sports clubs have really cottoned on to the athletic sort of need in athletic clubs for coaching, you know, sports coaching, and they understand that if you coach children around a sport, they get better at it. But I think they've really cottoned on now to the mindset, coaching around mindset, to equip all children for better competition, practice, and success. So they will use the Wives My Size approach as an ethos and mindset for their enrolled dancers, athletes, swimmers. And that's actually sometimes how we've introduced the concept of Wives My Size to them, because we've been asked to go along, and we've been asked to deliver some training into their establishment, and they've loved the approach so much that they just want to make it their ethos. So that kind of explains a little bit about Emma. Emma is one of our coaches who's just bringing the Wives My Size tools together, and there's just this lovely mix. So she's a mom and she wants to use the tools with her children. She's also a speech and language therapist and has an in-school contract. So she's going to use and blend the tools and weave the tools in there. but she's also, she teaches children's yoga. And she does have an idea in the future that she will be growing this, and she will probably have her own coaching, children's life coaching business in the end, but that's where she is at the moment and is loving it. You might also have an established coaching business with adults and want to grow the possibility of that business by including an offering to children. And that is exactly the case with Janet. So Janet is one of our wonderful coaches. She'd already found a niche in coaching adults with ADHD and ASD, so definitely that neurodevelopmental community. And she actually found our program because of our book club. So we have a book club where you get the books, and she'd been reading the stories with her grandchildren. She's got 5 grandchildren, and they loved them. But she could actually just see the impact on them. And she started finding herself kind of using the phrasing and the wisery and things with her adult coaching clients, because she realized actually the way you explain this is really, really helpful. So she reached out, and she wants, and she was delighted to start the training with us. So again, so that could be something that you're maybe thinking of, is like, oh, I want a tried and tested program. I don't want to go and have to make up a whole program to bring children into my practice. What I really want is just to pick something up and go with it. So that could be you as well. So as we say, you're definitely not a blank canvas. No one has come to us as a blank canvas. And sometimes people say, oh gosh, you know, they're so flexible. There's so many different ways you could use it to use the tools and the methodology. And absolutely. And we made a really conscious decision that we didn't want it to be a franchise model because of that. We want the tools to be in your toolkit, along with all the other amazing experience you've got. And we were really, really excited to see where this could go, and how you would take the Wise My Size program forward in your corner of the world. So we just want to transition now. So hopefully you've got a really good flavour of the methodology, the 6 steps. We've showed you a little bit about the power and the neuroscience of using stories. And we've maybe illustrated to you how you could use the program in the way that would suit you best. So hopefully you're wondering, oh, how do we get certified? What does it look like? Okay, so Jack's going to take you through the 4 phases, but I'm just going to make mention to our foundation level really, really quickly. So everything we do is based on coaching competencies and best practice. So it's steeped in coaching methodology, and you would certainly recognize, you know, the coaching competencies and how they show up in the way we practice. We are committed to transformation for children through stories, fun, and creativity, and empowering you, our children, our parents, through support and community. Okay. And then as the top layer, we want to instill that wisdom, wonder, curiosity for you. We want to get you the right mindset for success. We deeply believe practice makes progress. None of us are a finished article. We're always learning, always evolving, and we really commit to that. So we want you to feel that in your journey, and that we're always, you know, we can always progress and improve. And the mythical unicorn, deeply at the heart of this, is 2 working mums. We knew that anything we created had to have your well-being and self-care at the heart of it. So I hope you can feel that that is how we've built the course. That's how even we've planned the certification process. All the resources are there for you. They're just off the shelf. There's not really, you can just turn up and be an amazing coach. You don't need to be worrying too much about all the other stuff. We've thought about most things. If we haven't, we can certainly create them. So I'm going to hand over to Jack, who's going to take you through the 4 phases of the certification process.
Thank you, Lorna. So phase 1 is the online learning. So once you sign up, you get immediate access to our online portal. Here you're going to find videos, worksheets, and advice that steps you through the theory and methodology. You can work at your own pace at a time that suits you. Everything is in little bite-sized chunks. We know what it's like to be interrupted and you think you're going to have an hour and then you don't. So everything's bite-sized chunks, and it has a little progress bar so you know exactly where you are when you come back to it. You'll also get to join our coaches Facebook group, and that means you can get immediate help and support from our current and existing coaches, as well as myself and Lorna. We will also send you a very beautiful box of resources. Sorry, I think I've skipped Lorna, sorry. A beautiful box of resources, and I'll go back to that in a second. And this will be delivered to your door with your training manual, all the workbooks, all the grown-ups guides, all the storybooks, the coaching in the classroom, curriculum for the worry, and our lovely mascot, Shannon, who means small but wise. And she really helps focus the intention of each Wise for My Size session, and really focus on the soft skills that we're looking for, like staying curious, it's okay not to know, being kind to ourselves and to others. And if we can just flip back, the coaching content that we cover in the online portal, the theory and methodology, you're going to get this really deep understanding about self-talk, to understand the shade and shine talk, and to understand that it's just a voice. The voice is yours, it's your subconscious bubbling up, but it's not true and it's not your truth. You can choose to listen to it or not. We really focusing on My Amazing Brain, and this just fascinates children and adults. We look into your beliefs, where those beliefs came from, how you can shake them up and rewrite them, our comfort zone, the creating our new neural pathways and why it can just feel a little bit tricky at first, but we'll look at what you have a wide pathway for, a thin pathway, no pathway for, and then build those small doable steps. The conscious and subconscious mind is, it's okay, is really important, just to know who's actually in charge most of the time. It is actually your subconscious mind. So by bringing conscious attention to that, you can make an impact. And then programming your mind for success. How what you focus on is what you're going to get. Then we've mentioned before we have what we refer to as the 4 different types of worry, and we have a really easy process for children to work through that and come out on the other side stronger and having learned from it. Self-regulation is so important. So we look at energy. We coach children around the energy is renewable, and we also look out for ways to spot leaks and cracks so that we're always topped up and have enough energy to do what we want to do, have to do, and need to do. We also look at your sensational superpowers. We are all sensational beings, and we have that kind of like strengths-based approach where we look at what you're amazing at. If something's feeling too much or not enough, we can help get to the point where things feel just right, and then you can become your sensational superhero self. And we're also looking at emotional regulation, understanding our emotions and understanding that they're just signals. And it's just letting us know that something's come up for us, and that we can deal with it. And then the real biggie is managing mistakes. So coming back from a mistake stronger is so empowering and really does build confidence in yourself and your self-worth. It's super important. And we also look at values. What are you spending your time, money, and energy on? And are they the right things for you? And we'll have a quick peek at the contents of the resource box again, because it was so beautiful. Hi, Shannon. And then we'll go on to phase 2, if that's okay. Oh, sorry. This is what Fiona said when she got her resources box. My resources box looked fabulous and contained so much more than I expected. I love the way it was packaged, and the resources all seemed to be of very high quality. I was excited to share them on social media and get started on my pre-course reading. And then we go on to the phase 2, which is in-person training. So now that you're really grounded in the theory and you're much more comfortable with the materials, it's now time to practice those tools in real life with real people, your fellow coaches. So we have training options every month, and we have a Scotland venue, an England venue, and then we have a Zoom option as well, split over 2 Saturdays. But we'd be inviting you to come and train with us for a weekend. And so you plan when you attend and to fit in with your lifestyle and what's going on for you. But this is where we bring the theory to life. We also plan how to attract your practice clients, how to plan for your group sessions, how to use the paperwork and documentation so you feel really ready and prepared for phase 3. There's lots of more cool, fun stuff that will surprise you, and as well as really important topics like we'll cover children's mental health, safeguarding, and we'll get you in a great mindset for phase 3 and phase 4. So this is what some of our coaches said. I loved it. It was both very informative and fun at the same time. We learned lots and participated lots. Can't wait to get started. I was really glad I invested in the training and that everything we talked about really resonated with me, and it felt like a good fit for what I wanted to do moving forward. And then we go into phase 3, the coaching practical. Now, let's just check in. Where are we in the comfort zone when I said that? Any fight, flight, freeze responses happening here? And what are your beliefs about you being able to do a coaching practical? Make sure you're writing them all down because we'll chat them over with you when we have that phone call. So this is the part that everyone dreads before they start. There's lots of I can't do it, it's too scary, the what if thoughts are looming. But let us reassure you, this is actually the part where all of our coaches have just loved the most. And this is where you will actually see the transformation and the power coaching has before your very, very eyes. And you can support the children to achieve this. So in the coaching practical, there's 2 parts to it. One, we would encourage you to take 2 individual children through an 8-week coaching program that their parents also attend. Then it was one small group of 3 to 4 children for an 8-week coaching program. So once you start your your practical sessions, we will invite you to the prac mentoring calls on Zoom, where it'll be hosted by myself or Lorna. We offer these at different times of the week, and this is a live Zoom, so you come along with questions, you seek advice, you get reassurance, we will support you at every step of the way. And also what's great is you benefit from listening to the other coaches. I think, has someone made a little, yeah. I really like the way you share concrete examples of questions and activities, as often, although I understand the theory perfectly, I struggle to put it into practice. So this is where we maybe take a concept and then it's thinking like, how will I actually coach that? What's it going to look like? And we break that down and we talk about it so that you feel really, really confident and supported. Then phase 4, assessment and evaluation. Again, please do not panic. We want you to be successful, okay? But again, we've said we also want to meet the coaching competencies. So we're getting the balance between the 2. So the assessment evaluation looks like this. During your individual clients, you will submit 3 recordings of 15 minutes each. Just showcase your coaching. You get to decide which bits you share with us, okay? And you also get a chance to reflect on that coaching, looking at the competencies and seeing how well you're doing. We will listen into that coaching session and then we will give you feedback on your coaching to make you a better coach. Because remember, practice makes progress. We'll also ask for feedback from your individual clients at week 4 and week 8 from the parents. And then the final part of the assessment is an online open book multi-choice quiz just to test your theory of the materials and your knowledge. And that is it in a nutshell. So let's think, is this course for you? So what are you getting? The online learning portal, all your printed resources, training manual, your 2 in-person training days. That does exclude travel and the overnight accommodation, but the hotel will give you a good deal because you're a day delegate. You get your practice mentoring support live Zoom calls each week. You have a written evaluation on your coaching, written feedback to help you grow as a coach and improve, a year's license, and the normal year's license will cost £250. So that will be renewed on the anniversary of your certification. My favourite part, the Wise for My Size hoodie or t-shirt. promotion on our website. Now, you might be at the point where you have your existing business and you're very happy that this will just tag into that, but you also might not have a business yet. So don't worry, you do not need to go and build yourself a website immediately. We have a dedicated Wise for My Size website. And on there, you will have your own page where you can outline all your fabulous skills and talents and the type of coaches that you're hoping to work with. Okay, we also have social media platforms that you will be invited into. But what else could you need? So let's just go through a few questions that we often get asked, and let's just see if we can resolve some of these for you. So what am I allowed to do when I'm a Wise for My Size licensed coach? So when you're training with us, you are restricted to practicing with 8 children, just while you're in the kind of practice phase. Once you are qualified, once you're licensed, you have an unlimited audience, but you are referencing our work. So you could coach one-to-one, you can run workshops, groups, you can go into schools, assemblies, online. Once qualified, you will buy all your resources from us at a deeply discounted cost that you then pass on to in your coaching package. So you can sell our traded materials as part of your offer. For example, you might give a grown-ups guide as part of a workshop. You could share 10% of our workbook via online, but we recommend that you send them the workbook and build into your offer. It's just a little bit more impactful if they're working online. And for groups, for example, we don't actually give children individual workbooks because what we're really doing is changing that coaching element into a group format. So we can usually just turn it into a game or an activity. And usually we just print off individual sheets if we need them for the group that day.
Great. So one of the other questions we get asked quite often is, what would be my earning potential if I was a licensed coach? So again, there's no regulation around this, and coaching offerings vary greatly. But just to give you an idea of what we are currently doing is we're charging $499 for an 8-week coaching individual program that's either online or in person. We also run Wise for My Size groups. Jackie runs 7 groups throughout the week, but just to give you a breakdown of that, we charge £8 per child per group, and we obviously offer sibling discounts and multiples, but £8 per group. You can have 12 children in a class, and if you had that class running for 8 weeks in a term, it's £768 minus the cost of the room hire. So as you can see, having multiple groups, running groups for different age groups back to back, it can be significantly profitable, and there's, as I say, there's reduced kind of overhead costs because we've got all the materials there for you, and you can bundle that into your packaging.
How long will it take me to complete my certification? Well, how long?
It's not a race. It's not a race.
Not a race. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But basically, because the phase 1, the online portal is in your hands, it's how quickly you do it. You might want to lock yourself in the cupboard over a weekend and dive right in. Don't recommend that. But likewise, you might just want to do commit to 1 module per week. So we would estimate phase 1 and phase 2 could be done in a matter of months. Obviously, for the 8-week coaching program, that is going to take 2 months to deliver. So we would think anywhere between 3 to 6 months is a reasonable estimate of how long it would take. Again, your circumstances are yours, and that might be slightly different for you. But 3 to 6 months would be a reasonable estimate.
Yes. And we'll always work with you if something life crops up. So we'll always work with you if something's happened and you need to take that a little bit longer. That's absolutely fine. I've never started my own business. I'm scared I'll do it all wrong and end up in prison. I think that's actually a direct quote. So we get that, we work in the NHS and in education, we'd not started our own business, and it is absolutely blinking scary, and you are absolutely worried that you're going to do something wrong or get into major trouble. So we want to just take that worry away from you, and what we're offering is that for as a bonus one is the strong foundation. So for 3 months after you're certified, we are going to give you access to our Coaching Business Success membership. So this is a wonderful membership we've created to really support and enhance best practice and get your skills set up and really champion you in business. But we understand that, you know, that might not be for everyone, but we certainly think that having access to it for free for the first 3 months will be hugely beneficial. The price after that is £89 a month, so still really affordable for everything you get in it, but we want to give you this so you can kind of dive in and get the benefit. So what you get in this in the Strong Foundations is a legal audit. So we've partnered with Orchard Legal. She's an amazing lawyer who specialises in coach stuff. So she's absolutely on the ball. So she will have a look at your particular business and she will audit what's required. So you know that you've got everything in place for you and your business from a legal point of view. So you're not going to go to prison. Phew. Right, we've dealt with that. Okay. We're also putting in this bonus. You will get an 1-day online business foundation course with one of our business mentors, Adam Brooks, his Excellent Sales Academy. And Adam will have you in small groups, kind of 6 to 8, and you will be working through the basic foundations. You know, he always kind of calls it foundation training because it's getting those foundations of your house sorted before you build it up. So it will cover everything you need to know about becoming a sole trader, about starting a business, the accountancy, all of that will all be covered. And we'll also have some training with Class for Kids. So Class for Kids is the program app that we use to register and take money from all the children that come into our groups. It's a really, really good system. It covers you for GDPR and all these things, and they help you with policies and things like that. So again, they will give us some free training, give you some free training, and then you're also able to come under the Wise for My Size umbrella, which means if you do sign up with them, you will get a kind of like discounted rate because you came via us. So I hope that is kind of ticking quite a few boxes off for you.
I wouldn't know what to charge or how to promote my coaching. Again, we struggle with this at first too, because you're not used to it. But again, as part of the Coaching Business Success membership, we've got bonus number 2 is promoting yourself. So you will have access straight away to our social media library with images and pictures and wording that you can use, marketing training, getting into schools training with Keris Keneally, niche training, and working within our social media groups.
Great. So hopefully that's answered that little question and worry. So after my training, am I accredited coach? Now, I get asked this sometimes because it doesn't always fit with everyone's business model. But what they're really referring to is, am I accredited with, say, like the ICF or the ACC? And the answer quickly is no. However, no course can be accredited. You can work towards it. So what I can reassure you is that all of the work we do is aligned to the coaching competencies that they would be looking for. Having recordings and your work reflected on by yourself and also peer reviewed, very, very important. We'll also give you a template for a coaching hours log, because within the coaching accreditation with us, you will have gained probably close to like 24 hours of coaching. You need 36 to start applying for the accreditation, and we'd certainly support you with that. So again, within that first 3 months, you will get access to coach mentoring, supervision, which is something you have to comply with if you want to go for accreditation. We will really dig into the competencies and look at the ethics and make sure you're really, really skilled in that. And we will support you to get your coaching accreditation if that is something that appeals to you. It will not be for everyone, but if it's something that appeals to you, we will certainly help you with that. So I hope that has answered that question and reassures you. And that's bonus number 3, best practice.
Another question, how would I grow a profitable business? So bonus number 4, business growth. So this is where we would come together in the Coaching Business Success membership, and we would do quarterly training. We would look at how the last 90 days went and what we want to do for the next 90 days. We will offer accountability. Okay, we are firm but fair, but if you've said you're going to do something, we want you showing up the next week and telling us how that got on. Masterminding, coming together with a hive mind and problem solving different areas of your business. Financial forecasting, what are you expected to earn and then what actually happened. Ongoing business training with Sales Academy, and we will also be offering affiliate options.
So hopefully that has answered a lot of your questions. It will not answer everyone, and that was not the intention of us creating this information session. You will have your own individual questions, and I want you to note those down and come prepared if the next doable step is to have a conversation with us. But if we just review what you're getting for the certification, so the online learning portal, all the printed resources in your beautiful box, along with Shannon, a training manual, two days of in-person training with us, your prac mentoring support calls on a weekly basis throughout all of your practical elements, written evaluation on your coaching, written feedback on how to help you grow as a coach. A year's license is bundled in, a Wise for My Size hoodie, and the promotion on our website and our social media forums, as well as the good foundations, your legal audit and your foundation training, sales and marketing support, the best practice to help you with accreditation and just being the best coach you can be, and making sure that for at least the first 3 months that you are growing your business as well as you can. And the price for all of this is £2,895. And I hope you feel when we say that price, it feels fair for the quality and the amount of support that you're getting, both from ourselves, but also in this tried and tested, done for you program and methodology. One of the questions we are asked is, do you have a payment plan? And of course we do. We have obviously the option to pay in full. Option 2 would be a deposit of £500, and then we can split the payments 5 ways, so 479 for 5 payments after that. Or option 3 would be the deposit again of £500 and then 6 payments of £399. We do, of course, offer a full day, 14-day money-back guarantee that if you get onto the course and you don't like what you see and you don't feel it's a right fit for you, 14 days, and we're happy to return your money. There'll be no quibble about that. What I would say is that Jack and I are just normal people, just like yourselves. We don't have huge amounts of money lying around, so please do not allow the payment to be the thing that gets in your way. Have a conversation with us. There's always a way to work these things out. So just want to have the small print in big print, just so you're absolutely clear about what the certification program is. We are certifying you to use our licensed materials and our trademark materials. You will be self-employed, so you're not an employee of ours. You will need your own insurance, and again, we will help you with that. And you will also need an enhanced disclosure or DBS check because you're working with children. You cannot resell or repackage our intellectual property, but you can bundle it and sell it as it is within your own coaching programs, and you can use it. You just can't say, oh, this is mine, I made it. It's still the Wise My Size trademark. And we are certifying and licensing you to use our trademark materials for the term that you have the license with us, and you can extend that every year. And you will agree to represent the brand to the highest best practice standards at all times. Of course you will. So I did say if you waited to the end, I would let you know how I got on with Jane and Alison. Well, it's a good news story. It's a good news story. Jane did very well. We did lots of little doable steps to grow her confidence in just being away from mum, even mum, a great game of mum playing hide and seek. So we kind of worked on that separation anxiety in a really fun way, to the point where mum could drop her off at friends and leave and go to Grand's for the day. And we did small doable steps until Jane was very happy to have sleepovers. And she did manage to go to her friend's sleepover party and had a lovely time. She's much happier and not so worried. So it was a great success. So we strongly believe that every child is one caring adult away from being a success story, and we hope that you'll join us in being one of those one caring adults for a lot of children. We do always say application onto our course is by conversation only. That just really just makes sense, doesn't it? We want to make sure that we are a really good fit for you, and you want to make sure that you are a really good fit for us, because we do want to partner with you. We do want to see you really, really successful, and we do want to see our tools going out into the world and really supporting lots and lots of children. So the next step, there'll be an opportunity for you to sign up to have a conversation with us. So book in a time that suits you to have a telephone conversation with us. Bring all your questions, bring all your beliefs and your shade talk and your worries, and we will help you with that as well. And we really do hope that we get to speak to you soon. So it's just really a big thank you from us, isn't it, Jack, that you've
thank you so much.
You've spent your time with us. We hope we've answered as many of our the questions that you had, and that you're interested in the programme, and we really do hope to speak to you soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.